Hello, my name is Joachim and you're watching the Nintendad review of Dread Nautical. What do you get when you mash up a cruise liner and a tactical turn-based combat RPG with management parts and roguelike elements? Something dreadful in the water, of course. In our case, Dread Nautical by Then Studios. I still wonder if the pun on Dreadnought was intentional or a hidden warning to potential players.
I do not understand it. It never failed before. Now my charges are dead? Probably. I don't even know that.
Let's do what we can for the survivors.
You are on board the ill-fittingly named cruise liner Hope, cruising and enjoying your well-deserved holidays when the ship is overrun by supernatural monsters with a hidden agenda. After the initial onslaught, you wake up in a safe room and get to talk to one other survivor called Jet, who informs you that the fate of the ship is in your hands. Find other survivors, defeat the evil lurking about, and find out what happened and why. You've got the choice between 4 different unlikely heroes: Fargo Dexter, PI, Hatano Kenichi, ex-Yakuza, Venusbaum, video gamer, or Mirage, singer. All of them come with different stats and perks. Some have better health, some are quicker to befriend others, while some can carry around more stuff. Pick wisely, because your strategy decisions depend on it. Talking to Jet will give you a task to do. Most of the times he will ask you to leave the safe room and work your way through one of the ship's decks. Gear up with weapons and protective equipment, enter the lift and choose the deck you need to examine. More decks will become available by working through the story. Once you exit the lift, Jet will call it back down, making sure that you need to complete the randomized, you're playing a roguelike remember, deck to get back to the safe room. The decks are filled with loot of different kinds, as well as a varied roster of enemies you need to defeat and other survivors you need to befriend and convince to join you on your mission. The loot can be weapons of differing rarity, protective gear, scraps or runes. You need the weapons to fight, obviously, and the armor to lessen the bite of your enemies. You need the scraps to repair or upgrade your weapons, and the runes to learn new perks or upgrade your stats. That said, your weapons deteriorate very quickly. The better and stronger the weapons are, the fewer uses they offer. So you'll have to be careful how you spend your scraps, especially on the higher difficulty levels. Once you stumble into a room with monsters, you switch from free movement to combat mode. In combat mode, your actions are limited by your action points, AP. Moving around or attacking will decrease the number of APs you have left. Attacking with a strong weapon costs more APs than using a weaker one. Once you've used up all your APs, your turn ends and your enemy's turns begins. The turn-based combat is well thought out, but selecting the foes to attack or the places to move to is a bit jaggy. Defeated enemies leave loot behind, which you can take if you have room in your very limited inventory. Exploring the deck and clearing your quest will bring you to the bridge. There you simply need to sound the foghorn to pass out and to reawaken the safe room on the next day. Then the cycle starts again. It's rinse and repeat till you solve the mystery. Considering the fact that Dread Nautical is a horror game, the art style is fitting. Think of a cartoon art style like Sin City turned colorful and family-friendly. It's angles and blobs of color with a bit of shading here and there, which looks both simple and surprisingly good at the same time. There's one caveat though: the cutscenes are ridiculous. The characters move and gesture exaggeratedly like puppets on strings. Think of the Augsburger Puppenkiste, for example. This sadly breaks the tone of the game completely. Also, while the voice acting is well done, the characters' lip movements are only hinted at and mostly not happening. So you have puppets on strings talking without moving their mouth, but gesturing with arms and hands. Not really immersive, I'd say. The soundtrack, on the other hand, draws you in. Its eerie haunting music and creaky sound effects set the tone well. Still, you have a hard time feeling a sense of dread during the cutscenes. Or was this made intentionally dreadful? I can live with clunky controls in games where precise movement isn't necessary. I can live with ill-fitting cutscenes. I can't live with crashes and freezes that make me lose my progress. Losing progress in a roguelike is a definitely game breaker. Unfortunately, this has been the case while playing Dread Nautical. I found some cool rare gear, then I started talking to another survivor. Begin cutscene, give dialogue options, freeze, restart, cool items gone. That's just annoyingly bad. To add insult to injury, the loading times of the games are too long as well. Entering a deck takes more than a minute, even if the art itself is not a detailed feast for the eyes. Let's come to a conclusion and verdict. With a light-hearted horror story featuring quirky characters, even if all of them are the usual stereotypes, I was hoping for a few rounds of good turn-based roguelike gaming. Dread Nautical promises a lot, but what it delivers is not yet up to standards. Unless you dread not, you should pass this cruise liner. There are better cruises available. This all adds up to 2 or 5 points, and boy, this ship sank fast.